Let's get over to the kitchen now and check in with our ABC7 culinary director, Judi Gallagher, who is putting the finishing touches on our feast for Thanksgiving. Judi?
That's right, Scott. Now, don't worry if you don't catch everything today, because we always have it on mysuncoast.com on the dining page, and I'll be here tomorrow, Thanksgiving morning, from 5:30 a.m. to 7 for last-minute questions and touch-ups and get you through. Today, I'm focusing on macaroni and cheese. I never had that as a child growing up. I grew up in a Jewish family. We have kugel, noodle pudding, but so many of my friends are Amish or they grew up in that Southern tradition, and I have to say, Ina Garten makes the best macaroni and cheese, so I say don't mess with Texas. We're going to start with her base, omit a few things, and a nice little touch of breadcrumbs on top. What I love about this is make a double batch, only bake one for Thanksgiving, put one unbaked in the freezer, and that way with leftover ham, or if you're having ham on Christmas or another time, you can dice that up, and that's a whole nother meal that you can serve for brunch. So stay with me. It's last minute turkey heaven with side dishing today. Okay, Scott, here we go. So I've cooked up the cavatappi pasta. That's the curly corkscrew type pasta. I really like the way it adheres to all the cheeses. Now, a great idea is to get the Gruyere already shredded. The Gruyere is that French nutty cheese, and it will take a while to grate it. So that's one of the things that I'll get. I always check, and at Fresh Market they just grated it. I don't want to buy the bag cheddar cheese, so I'm going to buy a really good quality aged sharp cheddar cheese, and I'm just going to cut it into cubes. So let's get started first. We've cooked the pasta. I have a quart of milk that I'm bringing up to temperature. I'm barely going to bring it to a boil. I want to make sure it doesn't scald on the bottom of the pot. Now in this pot I have good old Irish butter, about 6 to 8 tablespoons, and now I'm going to whisk in the flour. Actually, that's making a roux. So you have almost equal amounts of flour and butter. And what we do is we want to cook this down a bit, and the reason being is we don't want it to turn too brown. A dark brown roux is something that you would make with New Orleans cooking, but for here we just want to cook it down enough that we don't taste the flour. So we'll let that go for a little bit. I'm going to season the milk with salt and pepper, and of course we'll be seasoning more later. This is a great time if you're going to be prepping tonight. Make the macaroni and cheese. I use red potatoes for my mashed potatoes, so I don't have to peel them, to be honest. So we'll be cooking them first thing tomorrow morning right here on ABC, and I'll show you my recipe for goat cheese mashed potatoes. And it's a great time to take a bag or two of cranberries, depending how many people you're going to have. You take, about a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of port wine and orange zest, and cook it down until the cranberries mash. All that can be done. That goes in the fridge tonight. This macaroni and cheese gets prepped, and our potatoes stay in cold water till the morning. So it looks like the flour has really cooked off well from here. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to move this pot over just to make it easier to show you. And this technique is very similar if you're making a cream sauce or a cream soup. What we're going to do is we're going to take this flour butter mixture, and we're slowly going to start whisking in the hot milk. So I'll wait till the ooey gooey part when you get back, and then we'll add that delicious Gruyere and aged cheddar cheese, and we'll get it all ready to pan. Well, Scott, there's still plenty of time, so if you have last minute errands or you found out you're having more company than you thought, kind of like me, there's lots of different options. I notice at the Fresh Market and Publix, they both have prime rib on sale. So you're going to spend $7.99 to $8.99 a pound. A great addition if you want to have something other than turkey. So there's still plenty of turkeys that you can buy, and there are all the accompaniments. If you wanted a roasted turkey, you've passed that deadline to get it pre-made, but I'll be with you tomorrow morning to walk you through it, so don't worry. Let's get back to our macaroni and cheese. So I made that roux. I added it to the warm milk. It was near a boil, and now I'm adding the Gruyere cheese. I'm going to add about 12 ounces of the Gruyere, and like I mentioned, this is based on Ina Garten's recipe. I don't use tomatoes in this because I don't want that acid of the tomatoes, because if I use this as a leftover as well, there's acid in the turkey, so that's more than enough. So I'm going to add a little bit more of the Gruyere, and then I start adding that great aged cheddar. And when I'm going to spend the money on a good quality aged cheese, I don't really want to get it pre-shredded, because if it's been sitting in the bag too long, then some of the air gets into it and it's not going to be quite as strong. Where the Gruyere is fine because they do a limited amount right around the holidays. Now I save a little Gruyere for the very top. I'm going to give this a really good stir and let the cheddar cheese start to melt. As the cheddar cheese starts to melt, I've taken my cranberries and I've added about 3/4 of a cup of sugar. You can use agave if you want to avoid the sugar. It's a great change is to use agave or honey. I'll bring that to a boil and I'll simmer it till I can mash them. 20 to 30 minutes tops, and then tomorrow we'll grate in some fresh ginger and orange zest. And then I always make one batch plain because there's always some people that just want it kind of plain. So I'm good with that. If you do the canned cranberries, still do the grated orange and ginger. They'll never know that you use that. So let's take the pasta, the cavatappi pasta. Again, you can cook that ahead of time, so that part's done. A pound of that, and then all we have to do, look at this gooey cheese, I love it so much. All we're gonna do is we're gonna mix it, and then we're gonna top it with some Parmesan panko breadcrumbs. Again, I get those over at the Fresh Market. You can just toast your own breadcrumbs with a little butter, and that will go on top with a little more Gruyere. This can sit in the fridge overnight, and you can bake it first thing in the morning, but you might want to bake it tonight and have a little piece, and then you can just pop it in the microwave. I'll be back for a final look and a taste in a few minutes.
We are back in the kitchen with Judi Gallagher cooking up mac and cheese.
And I mean, this is like the holiday mac and cheese. Go for it.
Really?
It's ooey, yeah. You
That's
have to
mine?
Yeah, that's your portion for today.
Love
what
it.
can I say? It has the Gruyere cheese and the aged cheddar and that milk that's brought in, a lot of butter. What I love are the toasted buttery panko crumbs. Right? So you're getting a little bit. And the particular crumbs that I bought over at the Fresh Market have ground pistachio in it, which I think elevates the dish, right?
I can't double dip. I'd go back in. I'll tell you what, that is good.
You know what?
Stuff,
It's mine, so you can double dip.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to let you. Now, also, John, I'm going to be here tomorrow morning from 5:30 a.m. till 7
That's
on
a
the
segment
morning news.
everybody looks forward to.
So if you need last-minute instruction on your gravy or goat cheese mashed potatoes, if there's any of that macaroni left for my Thanksgiving, I'll have that. And I'm really looking forward to being here in the morning to guide everybody through.
Turkey 911, we call it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's invaluable. Some of the questions also, I don't want to say they're hysterical, but they're fun, so you got to tune in and listen.
I think the biggest thing is if you did not unthaw your turkey by tomorrow morning, do not put it in the dishwasher, which somebody once called and asked me. That would be our favorite.
The best. That was the best. The recipe on our website, mysuncoast.com. Judi here tomorrow morning, bright and early. Have a happy Thanksgiving, Scott.